Welcome. Class of 2020 students, parents, family members, friends, and whoever else you can fit in your car. This event culminates the 13 years of learning and growing with many accomplishments along the way. Yes, the ceremony is finally happening. I just pinched myself to make sure. We will begin by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and playing our national anthem. It is understood, given the circumstances, that standing may not be possible, but please remember the reason for both of those things. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets
that was. Give it up for Emily Foley and Denver D'Agostino. Great job. Thank you. That was very nice, by the way. A little bit of etiquette. No problem with the honking when it's appropriate. When we're doing the names, though, please try to keep it to a minimum so the kids can hear their names being called. But thank you very much. You guys were off to a great start. And I just want to thank you all for your cooperation in getting this set up. It's been amazing that we can all come together, and that'll be the main theme of my speech today. As I complete my 24th year as an educator, this past school year is without question one that will remain as the most challenging years of my personal and professional life. Along the way, it was comforting to know that my Mount Sinai family, especially you, the students, helped me navigate through these unprecedented events. It is an understatement to say that you, the class of 2020, have endured events that I am sure will stay with you throughout your lifetime. Nevertheless, it should give you and your family great pleasure and pride for successfully completing your high school level course of study. Please try to remember and reflect on how much you have grown throughout your academic life. One of the silver linings during this difficult year was being able to see how much many of you have transformed into fine young adults since meeting you 8 years ago. Your impressive list of accomplishments illustrate that you are prepared to move on to the next chapter of your life. As you head into that next phase, please remember that much of your success depends on how much effort you put forth, your attitude towards others, and how well you persevere through any obstacles you may encounter. Remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Almost a year to the day, on July 19th, the news of Mr. Grable's passing shocked our community. I certainly would rather he be here today than me. But together, we opened school and began to heal. It is an understatement to say that the school year had its ups and downs, but together, we got through it. I believe we finally hit our stride right before the senior trip, and was so happy that we had a great time together. Then, on March 14th, we faced something bigger than all of us. The closing of our school, the cancellation of seasons and performances, and the loss of so many memorable senior year activities, including a traditional ceremony. Because of all that you have endured, it is truly fitting that you are the first graduating class of the Robert M. Grable Jr. Mount Sinai High School. Your perseverance only reinforces one of the models Mr. Grable and I truly believed and worked together to place in every middle and high school classroom. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Keep fighting for what is right, keep working hard, and please know that good or bad, you and your family should cherish this moment and be happy that we are here together. Congratulations, and I hope you all keep in touch. Thank you. At this time, please allow me to introduce several special guests that are in attendance with us. Board of Education President, Mr. Robert Sweeney, Vice President, Mr. Stephen Kepper, Trustee, Ms. Anne-Marie Henninger, Trustee, Mr. Edward Law, Trustee, Ms. Lisa Pfeffer, Trustee, Mr. Peter Van Middlem, our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Gordon BROSDAL, Assistant Principal and Director of Guidance, Mr. Matthew Dyroff, Director of Math Science Technology, Mr. Andrew Matthews, Director of Athletics, Physical Education and Health, Mr. Scott Ray, and our newest member of the administrative team, Ms. Christina Romeo, Assistant Principal and Director of Fine and Applied Arts. I want to thank Mr. BROSDAL and the Board of Education for their support during this transition year, and all of my administrative colleagues for always being there when needed. It is truly a great team. One person that could unfortunately not be here is Mr. LaBianca. Lobs, as many of you affectionately called, started his next chapter on July 1. I personally cannot thank Mr. LaBianca enough. His camaraderie and support through the years, especially this one, is something that may never be replaced. His 32 years in education and 19 in Mount Sinai certainly left a mark. He's a true teacher, coach, friend, and colleague. You don't find that combination too often. I know he wishes he could be here, and his presence will be missed, but I'm sure he'll be around to rub it all in our faces about how much free time he has. Our teachers that are here today, Mr. Kulik, Ms. Kulik, Mr. Blatt, Ms. Bellicera, Mr. Izzo, Dr. Doyle, and our counselors, Ms. Falco, Ms. Murph, and Mr. McAvoy. Thank you all for coming. So special thanks to our senior class and student government officers, Matt Schreiber, Audrey Bolello, and Matt Campo. You all represented your peers well. This was your vision, and it was the right choice so that we can be together. The grounds and custodial crew, you guys are the best. Thanks also to Catherine Carrillo and her mom for beautifying our front flower beds just in time for the ceremony. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Gordon BROSDAL, Superintendent of Schools, who would like to share a few congratulatory remarks.
Thank you, Pete. Good morning, Board of Education. Board trustees, Mount Sinai faculty, parents, guardians, family and friends, and of course, the class of 2020. It's an extreme honor and privilege to stand before you this morning and participate in this great culminating event of your high school. A few short years ago, I was visiting the high school and Rob Grable presented me with a sign that said, "If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you." Mr. PRAMATARIS just mentioned that sign. I asked Mr. Grable if he had an extra sign for my office, and he gave it to me that day. Since that day, these signs appear everywhere on campus throughout our 3 school buildings, and today this statement is more meaningful and significant than ever. This entire year has been a challenge. This is my 50th high school graduation ceremony. I've had the honor to attend as a teacher, principal, assistant superintendent, and now as superintendent. However, I must say this year has been the most challenging for me, and I am sure the most challenging for all of you, beginning with coping with the death of our high school principal. Then we were hit by ransomware, and we're without computers for 2 months. Finally, our schools were closed by the governor for the rest of the year due to COVID-19 virus. You lost sports seasons, attending classes with your favorite teachers and lifelong friends, award ceremonies, prom, picnic, and of course, obviously a traditional graduation. You suddenly had to do all your schoolwork online and learn to do Zoom. As your superintendent, I shared these school losses with you. We all had to face a new world as the governor told us what we can and cannot do. I have been challenged and changed by these events. It's too easy to get depressed and focus on what's not working and what we are missing. It's an understatement to say that our lives have been disrupted to the core. But I've learned that instead of focusing on what we don't have, it's important to pay attention to what we actually do have. I am grateful for many things that I once took for granted. I'd like to share just a few with you. A beautiful sunrise, the warmth of the sun on my face, the power of group prayer, seeing other people live and in person, driving and the feel of the road, proper hygiene, paper towels and toilet paper, a gentle breeze, travel, restaurants, face-to-face conversation, shaking the hand of a good friend, sporting events, a professional haircut, my son's resilience and creativity, my wife's strength, but big, the unwavering dedication of our first responders, physicians, and civil servants. But the largest thing I'm grateful for is life itself. Class of 2020, to me you're all heroes. Thank you for your ability to adjust to change and working through the challenges with a can-do attitude and growth mindset. You have not had the year that you planned, but through hard work and commitment, you remain steadfast in achieving this great milestone in your educational career. We've all been challenged this year more than ever before. I'll never forget the class of 2020 and what you had to endure. It's my hope that these challenges have changed you and made you stronger, more creative, more thankful for your family and things you do have. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here this morning. God bless the class of 2020.
At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Robert Sweeney, Board of Education President, who would also like to share a few words.
Superintendent BROSDAL, Principal PRAMATARIS, our administrators, teachers, my fellow parents, and most importantly, the class of 2020. Welcome to this day, your day. It only seems a short time ago, at least for us, that we were telling you this day would come. The 8th grade moving up, when you were in high school, you're going to be graduating soon, and all of a sudden, here it is. For the parents, this day came very quickly. Our image of you will always be the same. During this time, each year, we had some opportunity to guide you, direct you, or control what you were doing, or so we thought. As each year went past, more of it fell to your shoulders. As we sit here today, it's all your decisions now. This day. On this day, you choose the path that you will go on. On this day, you will choose what direction you need to go. On this day, you will choose what comes next. You will choose what you will be. We have only given you the foundation. Your parents, your teachers, the administrators, your neighborhood, your friends. We laid the first course of bricks. The rest is for you. You will start and build what you are. Not what someone else wants you to be. Not what someone else thinks you should be, but who you are. And on this day, you will start that with one step at a time. Sometimes those steps, you'll stumble. Sometimes those steps will come quick. Sometimes those steps will take more time than you think they should. We learned over the past few months that time can change what we do. We're part of nature. We're not in control of it. We're not in charge. We learned that maybe a slower pace may be better. During this time, on this day, you have talent within you. But talent in and of itself is not enough. Talent is just the raw material. Talent is what is in you, but what you do with it is what makes you successful, what makes you excellent, what makes you who you are. It takes work. It takes effort. Don't let anyone kid you that it's an easy road. There are going to be potholes, there are going to be rocks to climb over, there are going to be hills to climb up, even as you start this day going forward. On this day, you need to have faith. Faith in who you are. You keep the faith of what you are, how important you are to your friends, to your family, and to you. That faith in you will carry you forward, even when the challenges seem insurmountable. My father used to say to me as I left the house, keep the faith. I say to you, if there's anything you remember about anything said today, and I doubt you will, other than the silly red outfit that I get to wear, sort of like the only time you get to wear it, keep the faith in yourself. You are strong. You are resilient. You are great. It is what is in you that matters. And if you keep that faith as you go forward on this day, you will be a success. You will define who is successful. You. Because you kept the faith in you. As you move forward, you will not be alone. You have made lifelong friends here. Your family is here. Your community is here. You take a piece of us with you wherever you go. You honor us in everything you do. And we are honored to have had this period of time with you. Over these years, as a member of the board, I've got to participate in some of the things with you each year. Back to kindergarten moving up, 4th grade moving up, 8th grade moving up. You have risen each time. You are rising. We are very proud of you, and I am most thankful to have had a small piece of your lives in mind because you make me better. You make each other better, and you will make the world better. Keep the faith, my friends.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. At this time, will the class of 2020 senior poet please come to the podium? Denver D'Agostino.
How the days have come and gone, how the dusk has turned to dawn, sitting unassured at the crossroads of the future and the past. Graduation has arrived, education we've survived, and the sun begins to rise on the horizon we've amassed. Congratulations now deserved, expectations now preserved for this future generation and our impact on the day. Opportunities await, aspirations recreate, yet the current complications of the world suggest delay. Worries scatter through the air, fear and anger and despair, an apathetic social setting to the people and their pleas, economic devastation, an ever more dividing nation, and a constant sense of caution from the ravage of disease. Still, today is the day we fly, with our wings facing the sky, towards that overarching goal to make the world a better place. Though the method isn't clear, some misguided, insincere, there's a social transformation in perception to embrace. There is hope. Yes, hope is here. We cannot let it disappear. For our world, so full of gray, can be brightened that future day. A world where war is inhuman and strange, where police are synonymous with only support, where prisons are moral and advocate change, where illness can no longer cut lives off short, where racism is conquered by love and affection, where murders and evil this nation surpassed, where joy is experienced in every direction, where humanity can live together at last. Now the scenes become set, and the last act is near, with potential now shining as the stars up above. Though peace may be complex, the pathway is clear to overflow society with compassion and love, to advocate more patience and humility, to advocate more peace and understanding, compassion for others while instability, and wisdom when life becomes demanding. And above all else, the world needs love. We need love. We need love. So love everyone in view, and our hope will blossom true. I know that I do. Now, we just need you.
What a great job. Couldn't think of a better guy to give that poem. Just such a great kid, and he was a big part of my great time in Disney. Thank you very much, Denver. That was beautiful. I'd like to invite the class salutatorian, SKYLER SPITZ. Please come forward to deliver your salutatory address.
Hello. Oh, God. Hello, family and friends, faculty and staff, and fellow graduates. I'm happy to be here in front of all of you today, especially my brother. I beat him out in rank, so I'm the favorite child now. But I don't want to take up too much of your time, as I know everyone here just wants to get to the ceremony. But I'd like to use this opportunity to start off by simply asking, who are you? At first glance, this seems to be an easy question. Whether it be meeting a new person for the first time or picking up our yearbooks on Wednesday, we have been asked this question our whole lives, and yet we are prone to responding with just our name. However, I wish to delve deeper into the ambiguity of this question. Rather than just stating our names, I wish for everyone to think about what makes you who you are. Is it your emotions, experiences, or possibly passions? For 18 years, we have been sculpting and perfecting this image in our minds of who we think we are. Yet, I don't think anyone sitting here today can truly explain to me just exactly who you are. As I looked at examples of past salutatory speeches, the most common theme was a description of who the person was. They would tell stories of their experiences in high school and how that has shaped them into who they are today. I will not be giving that speech today. I do not wish to reflect on my past here, but rather to reflect on my future. I know this seems paradoxical, but I mean, how can someone reflect upon something that has not happened yet? But I will start by telling you all about my future. In 20 years, I am retired, living in a mansion, and driving my sports car around the windy roads of Beverly Hills. Or maybe I'm living in an apartment in the city, waking up every day to work at the quant I have just been promoted at. Or even maybe I'm traveling around the world in the pursuit of something that I don't know I'm searching for yet. You see, what I'm trying to get at is that I have no clue what I will be doing 20 years from now. But I can say whatever I want, and no one can tell me otherwise because it hasn't happened yet. I believe that who we truly are does not lie in what we have done or what we actually will do in the future, but in the countless possibilities of what we think we will become. No one here can give me a complete picture of who they are, as it simply rests on an infinite amount of possibilities sprouting from our own imaginations. And for this reason, maybe the better question is not who you are, but who will you become? Now I know that some of that might have been pushing the boundaries of interpretation, or just downright hard to follow, but I would like to conclude by just giving my advice towards future reflection. Don't ever let someone dictate your actions. Don't live your lives in a shadow, doing something only because you were told to do so or feel that it is the only way. There is never a correct way. We must transverse and overcome this thought to see the whole picture. Don't let life define you, but rather define life. Let your ambitions run wild and learn to live in the future a little. None of us know what the future has in store for us, but it is our resilience in the face of adversity that makes us so strong and will allow us to shape our own identities. And finally, in the words of the late Stephen Hawking, there should be no boundaries to the human endeavor. We are all different. However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. While there's life, there is hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Skyler. Very well said. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Aaron Angress, class of 2020 valedictorian, for his valedictorian speech.
Hey everybody. Just to clarify, I have no idea what I'm doing with this speech. When I found out that graduation was getting pushed back to July 10th, I opened my laptop, grabbed a pen and paper, opened Google Chrome, closed out of this speech, and checked on my WebKittens account. Unfortunately, I'm sad to say that my account from 11 years ago has been terminated. I'm heartbroken. Since the internet wasn't too helpful for telling me what to speak about, I've just decided to collect a bunch of random thoughts into this melodramatic 7-minute whining session. So, buckle up. You get it, you know. Not to stick it to the man or anything, but I don't think it's really fair for me to be up here speaking. I know that's pretty woke. Honestly though, why should my GPA mean that I have anything of value to say to you? I'm sorry if this offends any teachers here, but all the GPA really says is that I'm a master of skimming Wikipedia articles and SparkNotes guides. How many of the graduates here went to most or all of SKYLER's Gatsby parties? And personally, I've been before, And I'm pretty sure a whole lot more goes on there than spending a night finishing an outline for Mrs. Francesi. I am an 18-year-old child with the life experience of a first grader. Basically, I'm just saying that you can take everything I say with a grain of salt because I'm not in a position to tell you how anything really is. By that, I mean that you're welcome to recline your car seats and take a power nap. Don't worry, I literally can't see you. I also just wanted to thank a bunch of people. Mr. Grable, who we all miss very dearly. Mr. PRAMATARIS for keeping our class afloat. Keeping our class afloat in one of the hardest imaginable scenarios for a first-year principal at our high school. Mr. LaBianca for managing to bring up the fact that I won the middle school spelling bee in literally every single conversation we've ever had. Mr. Dyroff for being a fellow lard. All my teachers for somehow being able to strike the perfect balance between I love my kids and I want to make them suffer. My parents for watching me drag myself out of bed at 3 in the afternoon during quarantine and not making fun of me. Jill McCarthy for taking me on enough late night food runs to officially make my body 5% Cold Stone ice cream by mass. Nick Kwan for buying a bedazzled bikini bottom for me as a gift and not understanding why I wouldn't wear it to a public beach. Jake Ritchie for never ever insulting me, even when I could really use the ego check. Matt Miller and Tim Peck for giving me that ego check when we play video games together. Paul Gomes and Emma Licata for sometimes speaking so unintelligibly that I question if I'm just dreaming. I could definitely say something unique about every single graduate here, but I know that everyone is already frying in your cars, so I'm going to cut it here. Thank you to the class of 2020 for having such an absurd, unique sense of humor that nobody outside of Mount Sinai can make me really laugh anymore. That all aside, does anybody remember being in class while the IT department was fighting off that Romanian malware holding the school for ransom? Yeah, me neither. All the computers were down for a whole month, and somehow that wasn't even the weirdest part of the year. Stuff like that makes me kind of worried that we might not go down as the class of 2020, but as like the class of Corona or something. People seem to believe that everything that's happened over the past few months prepared us to do something big, like we're destined for greatness or something. If by greatness you mean silently finishing family-sized bags of hot Cheetos in my kitchen at 4 a.m., then sure, I've been practicing. All we can really say is that now we're prepared to lose everything at a moment's notice. And maybe that'll make us cherish everything a bit more now, but that's beyond disappointing. This whole thing feels so unfair, as if we were like guaranteed a normal year or something. Still, this pandemic doesn't have to be our only defining moment. Today shouldn't just be about reflecting on everything that's happened over the past few months. We're celebrating everything about us, not just our resiliency. We're still the class of 2020. And that means that we're some of the last kids to watch SpongeBob before it got annoying. And that we're the kids that ran a widespread black market for silly bands in elementary school. And then rainbow looms in middle school. We made fun of, but secretly turned up to songs like Trap Queen, Caroline, Sicko Mode and Mobamba, The Box. We converted our bathrooms into jewel rooms, and then we were somehow surprised when restrictions were put in place. We even got the poor wait staff of Planet Hollywood to display, "Wow, happy birthday, lard," on probably the biggest screen in Orlando. You can thank Andrew Karakis for that one. A lot has changed for the class of 2020 throughout high school. Some of us had glow-ups. Some of us went on Accutane. Gucci belts and Vineyard Vine shirts flooded our hallways, replacing those beautiful, vibrant lacrosse shorts. A lot hasn't changed for us at all. Matt Miller is probably wearing orange underneath his gown right now. Denver D'Agostino still has a mustache, and Kayla McFadden is still 4'2". We learned from the great American heroes over time to always do your pre-calc before your calc, and to keep it on the microchip. We watched people pull off some of the weirdest stunts and pranks imaginable, from drone invasions to throwing Bluetooth speakers around the classroom. We survived the clown invasions of freshman year, grieved over the death of Vine, and became indentured servants for TikTok. Everything that I just talked about shows that we were already great. We didn't need a global tragedy to tell us that. We're just like any other class, but completely different from any other class for the exact same reason. However, since I'm not allowed to just say, "This year sucked, get over it," I'll point out a silver lining here. Our senior year was ripped away from us in the blink of an eye. Now we're here, still confused about what happened and what's going to happen. Many of us regretted not doing a bunch of stuff before quarantine and taking all of our little freedoms for granted. Although I'm sure you've heard it many times before, I think the lesson here is pretty clear. We need to start living more spontaneously. Obviously, I'm not telling you to crash your car into the cafeteria on the way out of here, but definitely do everything as if you only have one more shot at it. All that stuff you've been dreaming of and all the things you've been dreading. So write that novel, learn that language, play the bagpipes, and travel. Tell your parents you love them. Love you, Mom and Dad. Acknowledge that your siblings exist. Hello, Ethan and Evan. Do all that stupid stuff too. Scream your lungs out. Go to bed at 3 and wake up at sunrise. Finish that whole family-sized bag of hot Cheetos. Run 3 miles away from home and 5 to get back. Tell that boy or girl that you're in love with them. Binge watch that awful Netflix show, step on a pile of Legos, and dance the night away because clearly we only have so many nights to dance. So, class of 2020, I want to thank you for being wonderfully unique. Please try to make every second count from here forward. I would wish you good luck, but I don't think we ever needed it. And even then, after all of this, it's got to be right around the corner. Congrats, everybody, and love you guys.
Thank you, Aaron, for that walk down memory lane. Very nice. I cannot thank Mr. Izzo and Mr. McAvoy for working so closely with me enough. They are some of the most dedicated and genuine people I've ever worked with, and the success of the senior trip was entirely because of their hard work. Would Mr. Izzo, Mr. McAvoy, and the senior class officers Matt Campo, Alice Lee, Aaron Angress, and Elena Carreras please come to the podium for the presentation of the senior gift.
Hey everybody, I know this ceremony is long overdue, but I couldn't be happier that we got to do something out here today. My fellow officers and I would like to take this opportunity to present the class gift to the class of 2020. This year, we're putting a commemorative sign up in the front lobby for Mr. Grable. At last year's graduation, shortly before he passed away, Mr. Grable encouraged the then graduating class to live every day to its fullest and to enjoy the little things in life that are so often lost. He discussed how it's easy for us to get caught up in the fast pace of the world and recommended trying to stop from time to time to appreciate the things around us. These past few months have been challenging for all of us in different ways, but it's important for us to focus on the good, the little things. So although this may not seem like an ideal graduation, I think it's important for us to focus on the fact that during a global pandemic, we were all allowed to come together and celebrate our graduation. Not everybody's getting this opportunity, and I feel that we're all incredibly lucky and blessed to be allowed to hold this event. I'd personally like to give a huge shout out to Matt Schreiber, because without him, this event definitely wouldn't have been possible. He put in a tremendous amount of effort, and if you get a chance, please thank him. I'd also like to thank all the parents and advisors and the PTO and everyone who has helped the class of 2020 throughout the last 4 years. I hope you all enjoy your graduation and wish you all the best in the future. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Although our time together was abruptly halted, it has been an honor to be your Vice President, Class of 2020. We were dealt with a bad deck of cards, but we can prove our perseverance and make light of our situation at this monumental time. We have the opportunity to improve and reflect upon ourselves, learn new things, and sleep past 10 a.m. without our mothers dragging us out of bed. Take this as a learning curve, not a punishment. I would like to end off this speech with a quote from my speech when I was running for office sophomore year. Seize the day, Class of 2020. Thank you.
We'll now call out the names of our Departmental Award and Citizenship Award winners. To the class of 2020, you have certainly left your mark at our high school. Your achievements are plentiful. Your commitment to learning is evidenced by your performance in and out of the classroom and by the colleges and universities you will attend in the fall. Your musical and fine art talents provided us with many entertaining concerts, performances, and creative artwork. Your efforts on the athletic fields reflected a will to win and a true understanding of sportsmanship. Likewise, your community service efforts greatly benefited those in need. Your genuine care for others is representative of true citizenship and a willingness to help those who may be less fortunate. With that said, the special recognition and departmental awards. We had our valedictorian, Aaron Angress, salutatorian, SKYLER SPITZ, senior poet, Denver D'Agostino. For art, Taylor Hutchinson. BOCES, Aaron Mitchell and Christian Tobacco. Business, Zachary Stock. Our choral award, Denver D'Agostino. Citizenship award, Matt Schreiber and Audrey Bilello. Computer science, Aaron Angress. English, Aaron Angress. Family and consumer sciences, Juliana Di Lorenzo. In French, Kayla McFadden. Instrumental music band, Matt Miller. Instrumental music orchestra, Joshua Kai. Mathematics, SKYLER SPITZ. Physical education health, Emily Foley. Also in physical education, Russell Marr. In science, Aaron Angress. Social studies, Nicholas Kwan. Spanish, Jackie Black. And in technology, Hayden Taylor. Congratulations to this year's special recognition and departmental award winners. The time has come for our recessional. Again, please ask that you follow the lead of the staff to lead you out in an orderly fashion. I want to thank Mr. Tappan and the media crew, Ben Ryan and Philip Hurst. They did a phenomenal job of streaming this event for us today. As you exit, the senior class photo montage will also be live streamed through the Mustangs Live video feed, so please log back in and check it out. Take a walk through memory lane. So, with all that said, Superintendent BROSDAL, Board of Education President Robert SWEENEY, and the rest of the Mount Sinai Board of Education, by the power vested in me and the New York State Education Department, I declare the class of 2020 from the Robert M. Grable Jr. Mount Sinai High School officially graduated. Please move your tassels from right to left. Congratulations. We love you. Have a great, safe, happy summer. Go have some fun.